San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy joined the Murph and Marcus show on KMBR this morning to discuss a bunch of different things. But in my opinion, one of the awesome talking points to come out of this interview was in regards to how he's recovered from the UCL surgery. I honestly believe this isn't discussed enough when talking about Brock Purdy. Obviously, we know what he's doing right now. He is not necessarily MVP frontrunner. Dak kind of jumped him this week, at least from a betting standpoint. But we know Brock Purdy is up there in the MVP conversation and as one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL right now, which is absolutely remarkable. After just 10 months ago, he had his UCL almost completely torn and had to get it repaired and found himself ready to go for training camp. And right now, we are watching and witnessing with our own eyes how well Brock Purdy is playing. And one of the main things to come out of how well he's playing is how well he's pushing the ball downfield, which was evident just this last week against the Seattle Seahawks when he hits Deebo Samuel deep, he hits Kittle, he hits Ayuk. He's throwing this ball deep. And so what was really cool about this conversation with Murph and Marcus was the discussion surrounding how he's recovered from this surgery and how he believes his arm has gotten stronger. And not only that, how his game has evolved from what he was in college. He says Kyle Shanahan gives him the confidence to go deep consistently, and we are seeing all of these things, a stronger arm, the confidence from his head coach to go deep, and we're seeing it come together right before our eyes. Even Brock said this is new for his game. Take a listen right here to this awesome interview and this portion of Brock Purdy talking about his journey back to the field right here.
Okay, health questions. You're slinging it beautifully, right? You're throwing the deep ball. You're going downfield. And it was only 10 months ago that we had the injury. Can you kind of give us the big picture breakdown of how you look back now and what Dr. Keith Meister did and how you handled it in the summer, and what's your arm care like now?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy, 10 months. Obviously Keith Meister, he's a specialist at it, so he did such a great job. And he told me exactly what to expect, and he was to a T correct in terms of getting after the rehab. At 4 months, you should start throwing better, and then it just depends on the individual in terms of when exactly you'll be back. It could be a longer process, it could be a quicker. So I feel like I was on the quicker end of things and got back for obviously game one. So I was very thankful for his work and what he did. And then since, I feel like my arm throughout the season has, just gotten, I guess you could say, stronger, just in terms of the rehab, the lifting, all of it, the amount of throwing that I've been doing throughout the year. So it's gotten better. And I actually talked to Nick Mullins, before surgery and all that kind of stuff, because he went through the same process. And he even told me, he goes, man, throughout the year, especially early on when you come back, you're going to feel a little something in your arm, but that's normal. All guys that go through surgery feel it. And he goes, but about halfway through the year, you should be feeling a lot better. And he goes, that's what happened with me. So, and he was right. Halfway through the year, my arm feels great now. So I'm excited about that.
And Brock, we know in the world of baseball, when we see pitchers have Tommy John surgery or a different type of elbow procedure, there's a big emphasis on their velocity when they come back. Now, playing quarterback, I'm sure to you it's more about touch and also arm strength. But talk to us about that process of the rehab where you're not just only going to physical therapy for your elbow, your forearm, your shoulder, all of those things that make you a stronger thrower. How's the elbow feel pre-surgery versus post-surgery? Would you say that maybe your elbow and your arm strength is even better than ever?
Yeah, I would say, it feels really good. It just feels strong. It feels fresh again. And like I said, when you go through the rehab and all that kind of stuff, it's so much emphasis on the ligaments and the small muscles around your elbow. So when you're constantly working them, your arm just by nature is going to get stronger. And so that's just really what it was for me. I think it was a great lesson for me just moving forward throughout my career, not just from surgery, but like moving forward, I can work and continue to do all those kinds of, workouts on my arm to keep my arm strong, to keep it fresh, to allow it to keep getting stronger. So Yeah, honestly, I learned a lot, and I think it's a little bit stronger, from where I started day one in the NFL.
Tim Ryan, the Niners color commentator, calls it the synthetic slingshot. Have you heard him say that to you, Brock?
Yeah, he's told me that a couple times. It's funny.
So, well, here's what it is. It's resulting in this deep. You're Brock the Mad Bomber. And I know you've addressed this on Sunday at the podium, and people are like, oh, you're going deep. But you are. And it is stuff that we haven't seen as much. And I don't know, maybe take me back to Iowa State. I didn't get to see all your games. Were you throwing the deep ball back at Iowa State and even back in high school? And is your reaction kind of like, yeah, this is what I do? Or is this new?
Honestly, I would say it's more a little new just with my game. I've always been known for, the quick game, the intermediate, and then every once in a while I'll push it downfield, but it's not, like what I'm doing now, I'd say. And I feel like that's a testament to obviously Kyle, his play calls, and sort of just his coaching, the last year or so of me just learning the system and being ready to take those shots, take the opportunities to go deep. And then obviously have the guys to do it with, Ayuk and Debo and all of our guys. So I feel like it's somewhat of a new part of my game, honestly.
Nice. It's good to see. I'll tell you what, it's enjoyable.
It's working.
It is honestly crazy. Again, one of the main talking points heading into the Eagles game wasn't about Brock coming back from the UCL, his first time playing against the Eagles. It was really buried amongst, all the other trash talking that was going on. And it really wasn't, put in a spotlight, which, I don't think Brock really would want anyways, to be the focus on him and, his return from surgery and all those different types of things, because that's just who he is. He's a very humble person. But to be able to listen to him kind of go into detail about how his arm has recovered, how he believes his arm has gotten stronger. I really like the part where he said he talked to Nick Mullins, former 49ers quarterback, who also had UCL surgery, and discussed the rehab process. That's probably got to be huge from a mental standpoint, just talking about how the arm comes back. Because if you heard from what Nick Mullins told Brock, was that about mid-season is when you're going to feel all right. And again, that was also part of the misevaluations of Brock throughout training camp. This guy was 2.5 months fresh off UCL surgery, and he was being evaluated like he was supposed to be an MVP quarterback at that time. And it was absolutely ridiculous. And so what we've seen from Brock is his arm getting used to these new things. Obviously, he discussed the focus on the tendons and the muscles around the elbow, building that up. All the throwing has made him a better thrower. He's throwing the ball further. He's doing things. And again, I've talked about this. I know his quarterback coach, Will Hewitt, and I texted him. I hit him up about week 4, week 5, and I said, I think Brock arm's stronger than it was last year. And his response to me was, just wait. And look at what we're seeing from about week 4, week 5 to what we're seeing now. His arm definitely looks stronger, and he talks about how it doesn't feel like it's a problem. Like it's definitely in the rear view. Whereas I think earlier in the year, it wasn't. In training camp, it definitely wasn't. He wasn't even practicing every single day. He was 2 on, 2 off. So what we're seeing from Brock, again, his resiliency to be able to come back from this surgery so quickly, the amount of effort and how he's put the time in to get this done and be able to put himself in a position to be able to be the quarterback for this team. It's been phenomenal, man. And I just love hearing that Kyle Shanahan has all the confidence in the world in him to push the ball downfield. And we're seeing that on full display. And I love that he admitted to the fact that that wasn't a part of his game in college. And it was admittedly one of his biggest knocks coming, into the draft was, he didn't push the ball downfield. He didn't have the arm strength. And I don't know, it's too early to say, but could the UCL surgery be a blessing in disguise? Did it make his arm stronger? Does he got more of a whip now than, I think he does. He had some velocity on his throws. He had zip on his throws last year, but he is genuinely pushing the ball downfield really far this year with relatively minimal effort, it looks like. So what Brock is doing is phenomenal. The way he's been able to rebound has been huge. I absolutely love it. You can listen to the full KMBR interview. They talk about Kittle. They talk about McCaffrey. They talk about Debo, Ayuk. They talk about a bunch of different things. You can find that link in the description. Go to the KMBR podcast channel, and you'll be able to see the full interview. Check it out right there. And also, let me know what you guys think about what Brock Purdy said about his arm. And how are you feeling about his arm? How are you feeling about the conversation that went from dink and dunk all offseason to a quarterback who has thrown 9 touchdowns on deep passes this year, where Patrick Mahomes only threw 2 touchdowns on deep passes all of 2022. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.